song like that. Terrific job. Terrific job.
Tristan McIntosh.
Yeah.
Right on down the stage.
Tristan McIntosh, you made it to number 6.
Tristan McIntosh is with us.
Growing up, I wasn't always as outgoing on stage as I am now. That took a lot of work. I was very shy. Like, I would be on stage, and as soon as I got off the stage, I would hop off and just be reading a book literally the whole rest of the time, not socializing at all, like to a point where my mom would go to McDonald's and have me sing for the workers just so I could get over my stage fright. When you're young, it's definitely like very uncomfortable being like, I don't know, some kids are naturally extroverted. I was not that at all. So I guess being pulled out of my comfort zone constantly and being in front of people and being exposed to, you know, being on stage and talking and performing in front of people, it definitely was something that made me very, very uncomfortable. But now as an adult, I'm very thankful for it, that I have the ability to not feel that same fear that I used to feel.
Well, Tristan, I think, was around 10 years old, and I believe she was singing in the kitchen. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that sounds kind of good. And so I Googled it and looked around and found a teacher in Franklin. And I took her there and I was like, could you listen to her and see what you think? Because I don't want you to waste your time or my money. So let me know if you think she has talent. And if she does, we'll move on. If not, then we'll have not wasted any time with each other.
Well, my mom used to sing professionally, gospel mostly, and my whole family sung, from her mother and my aunt, and I got a lot of aunts that sing, and it's kind of, it just inherited down through the family, Well, when she was young, I used to take her to piano lessons every Saturday for an hour, 30 minutes starting off, and she seemed to like it, and it's, that's something she wanted to do, and it became a habit. She just wanted to go, so we took her and had my son with me too, and he tried it for a minute, but that wasn't his forte, and we threw the football around while she practiced piano.
I am not a singer, but I believe she does get her beauty from me. I think it was once I got her to a more refined teacher that was like a one-on-one teacher and not, in a group setting. So they were able to work with her one-on-one. And I think it was one of Whitney Houston's songs when she hit kind of the high note that at 10 years old, you're like, oh my gosh, she just hit a Whitney Houston high note. I think that's the point I was like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere.
Country music, baby! I mean, country music is just what I've done ever since I was a kid, and it's kind of like a comfort thing for me, as well as just that's where I, to my core, belong. But I still love listening to many other genres of music and singing. Like, I sing everything. I play in a bunch of different kinds of bands, but I just do country. But I kind of dabble in everything else, which is like, pop music, R&B, really whatever, rock music especially is probably my second favorite, so.
My name is Lori C. Well, back in maybe 2014, Amy McIntosh, her mom, sent me a friend request on Facebook pretending to be her husband. And she said that, you know what, I stalked you for a whole year. And I loved everything you wrote about. And she said, you're the kind of person that, because I used to write inspirational things on Facebook, she said, you're the kind of person that I want around my daughter. So she invited me over to the house. And I was really, really nervous. And I played a song to my father by Ray Charles, and Tristan just played the piano and played that song to the exact. And I was so impressed because she was so young. And we just kind of hit it off from there. And then her mom got deployed, and I ended up spending a lot of time with her.
For me, Linda Ronstadt was probably the biggest artist who influenced me in my career, even though I became more familiar with her later on, starting, I say later on, which is 17. I kind of say that I started my career when I was 15, so I say 17 is later on. She's just really influenced the way that I want to pursue music myself. It wasn't even the music at first that drew me to Linda Ronstadt. It was just her personality and the way that she went about her career in music. She always had people telling her that she couldn't do things, her whole entire career. She started out in the 60s, in a band, broke away from that, and it was 60s psychedelic music, and then the 70s she kind of moved into funky country bluesy stuff, and then through the 80s went into rock. And at every single point where she kind of melded genres, people would tell her no, she can't do that, especially when she went to pursue opera, theater, and Hispanic music and mariachi. Everybody always told her that it was a bad idea, and she did it anyways, and did it super well to a point that people just had to respect it. So that's kind of what drew me to her initially.
Well, it's so funny that you asked that. She just had a show in Arkansas, and she was opening up for a major country singer. And I was literally sitting in the audience, and it's not how many times you see your kid or how many times you see them singing. For me, when she sings, she's singing for me for the first time. And I almost get teary-eyed and of how you forget when you don't go to those local shows or anything, how good she is. And then you relive it every show you go to because she's just amazing.
Well, Tristan and I were just kind of lying around and talking and laughing. And she says, Miss Lori, one of these days I'm going to do something so great. I said, you're right. And she said, I'm going to do everything for you. I said, no, I'll just, live your life, enjoy. So we get this call. Said, I need you to take Tristan, get her an outfit, and take her to Arkansas. So that's what we did. Blaine, Tristan, one of her friends, and her dad, we ended up going to Arkansas. I had no clue that American Idol was so big because I really didn't watch it that much. And so at that point, I knew that she was headed for a magnificent journey on American Idol.
In the top 5 tonight.
Both beautiful singers, so that was hard for us. But we would like to see...
Well, the whole experience is just very exciting. It's so much, and you learn so much, and you're doing so much. Every single moment of the time you get there to the time you leave is scheduled. So as a 15-year-old, I'd never quite done something like that. The magnitude of what I was a part of as a 15-year-old was just something that I couldn't have even fathomed. And going into it, it's pretty scary. You can't really get over this fear feeling of performing in front of people. You can only translate it into excitement and translate it into the performance. But 15, standing in front of high-level celebrities and standing in front of high-level executives and other incredible artists, it's very anxiety producing. But that's the point in life where it separates you from everybody else, is seeing if you can push through those feelings and still perform well. And that situation just gave me the strength to be able to completely perform and do what I have to do, even if I'm also feeling all of these feelings, or if my voice is not okay. We would have days where I'd sleep maybe 4 hours in 3 days, and it's just teaching you how to push through all of the hard moments and still deliver, which is probably what you have to do, the higher up you get, I guess in music, it's just more and more of that. And I think it was just me dipping my toes into that water.
You know, I thought it was just going to be a thing that she would just do it, you know, locally, but she's taken it to the next level and expanded and, you know, went not international, but global, which is, you know, more than I thought for such an early age. She's only 25 years old, and I think she's made big leaps and bounds.
Well, you know, the old saying, you have to start somewhere. And back then we just started at local contests, local venues, and as you well know, I was 24 years in the military. So I'm the one that was kind of doing the Googling and the finding the places, and her grandmother, grandfather, her dad was kind of the ones that, you know, took her everywhere that she needed to go. And so we just started breaking down doors, you know. Here's this little 10-year-old girl going into Tootsie's in downtown Broadway singing for the Tootsie's crowd, you know. I don't know if she was supposed to be in there at that time, but like I said, it was about breaking down doors back then, and we did what we had to do. Sometimes people say it takes a village. I couldn't have done it by myself. Like I said, I had her grandparents, I had friends, I had your dad, and it basically takes a village. I couldn't have done it by myself. I did more of the back scenes of the, you know, on the computer when I was at work. If I had a few minutes, I would look something up or Google something, and it was me calling everybody, okay, we got this gig going on, you know, take Tristan down here at 5 o'clock or whatever. So I was more of the behind the scenes, kind of making the things happen behind the scenes.
Well, I took a step back. I went to a job to where it gave me some freedom, you know, to flexibility, to where I could be with him some during the summer, be with her wherever she wanted. You know, I had that leeway. It wasn't to the point to where, you know, I had to be there 24/7, and I had the time to take off to go with her or him during the summertime, and it all worked out, and I wouldn't change it. It's something that's, you know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Well, my family is one of the most supportive families on the planet. Like, they've always been there since day one. They're kind of the ones who pushed me to be who I am today and to be as relentless as I am with my career in music. And they're always willing to lend a helping hand, whether that's my dad driving he got an RV specifically to help out me. He'll just like help us drive to wherever we're touring to. My mom's always there to lend a helping hand. She's always finding new opportunities and trying to introduce us to people, and, you know, just really trying to help out with my career. So I have a very supportive family. I got a brother who's also, you know, doing some cool stuff, and it's also really good with other aspects of the industry, like with filming and everything. And he's always there to help me with some advice, or, you know, if I have to ask a question about if something looks good or dorky, just be real, like so real all the time. And also just, we have a great friendship and relationship. So it's just been really amazing.
There was a funny time when she was at American Idol. It was time to go to bed. She didn't want to go to bed. And I had just fixed her hair and all that. And I said, Tristan, I had to turn into like a mommy role. I said, Tristan, you need to go to sleep. No, I'm going to stay on the phone. I said, no, you're not. So at that point, she wouldn't get off of the phone. So I took water and I just splashed it all over her. She says, well, you're going to have to do my hair over. I said, no, I'm not. You're going to go right out there and look just like that, because you would not get off the phone. But other than that, we've had a beautiful time. Hardly no arguments except for the way she wanted her hair. But like no arguments, no conflicts, and you know, we were just relatable. We could talk about anything in the whole entire world.
I think that I wouldn't have let so many people in my ear in the beginning. I kind of would have sought out someone individually. You know, I've always pride myself in creating a tight team for Tristan, and I let someone outside of the team kind of take control. And you know, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do that again. I'd still keep control of it myself and guide her in what we originally, you know, thought she should be as a country artist, and just kept going with that.
Honestly, this is what I would tell somebody who's just starting out in their career and doesn't really know where to begin. YouTube is your best friend. It will forever be your best friend. So anything that you think is beneficial, you know, that's where you can learn it. And don't be afraid to be cringe. You're gonna be cringe. It's not gonna feel right when you start out, and it's not gonna always be your best work, but it's your work. And that's the only way you are going to truly find out who you are and how you want to do things, is by, you know, just being cringe, being yourself and trying stuff out. You know, it's not all gonna work, but that's the only way to do it. My single is called Champagne Rampage. It's out on anywhere you listen to music under Tristan McIntosh, and you can also follow me on socials at Tris McIntosh on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.